If you're new to the hero shooter genre and you want to get into rivals, you don't really know how to get into rivals, that's what this video is for, because I was just like you a couple months back. New to hero shooters, I'd never touched Overwatch, and I wanted to play Marvel Rivals. Now that being said, I didn't know how the game worked, or what to do, or what role to play, or how to go about playing what I wanted to play. I want to help you guys understand the game, and also kind of give you some sort of thought process that you can go with to actually have fun in the game and improve in the game. So with that, my name is Slam, and I'm new to the hero shooter genre. I've only been playing this game for a couple of months. In that amount of time, I've learned a lot about the game, and I've been able to climb almost to Celestial. Maybe by the time this video is up, I'll be in Celestial already, and I think some people think that that's a respectable rank. So for someone with zero hero shooter experience, I think it's pretty good to hit Celestial. So I'm gonna try to let you guys know what I think absolutely helps and will get you to higher ranks faster. First up are the roles. There are three main roles in Marvel Rivals. There is Vanguard, also known as Tank. There's Duelist, also known as DPS, and there are strategists, also known as supports. Now every hero has their own difficulty, but in my opinion, I don't think you should really take this too seriously. Spider-Man is 5-star, Psylocke is 5-star, but there are people that play these heroes, and some people might even say that a hero like Psylocke is not really 5 stars. So with that, I think you should just pick a hero that you like and just learn how to play that hero really well. But at the same time, it's also good to know a little bit about how each role plays. Tanks usually help take space and soak up damage to help the strategist build support ults. Some Vanguards like Doctor Strange, Mag, or even Emma, they have a shield that can shield your team from various abilities, primary fire, CC abilities, stun or sleeps, or even some ults. Now this is very good because shields can stop things like Squirrel Girl's right click, or they can save your team from a Scarlet ult. They can stop your backline from being headshot by a Widow that's Mantis boosted. Shield tanks like these play more so in the front line. Other tanks have a little bit more mobility that makes it easier for them to focus enemy squishies, such as their supports, and these tanks can easily bypass the enemy front line and are known as dive tanks. Some of these tanks might include Venom, Cap, or Hulk. Notice that these three tanks play primarily for themselves. They're very mobile. Cap kind of has a shield, and Hulk kind of has bubbles, but they can't really protect their team from like CC or being sniped. It may be hard to solo tank with these type of tanks because they play primarily in the opponent backline. Their dive, they go for more of the squishies, and your team doesn't really have a tank in front of them to soak up some damage. Duelists. I guess I would consider this my specialty, kind of. Duelists are meant to deal damage while securing picks or eliminations. The DPS that play poke usually tend to stay with the team and deal damage from a distance. Some poke DPS might include Hela, Hawkeye, Moon Knight, Squirrel Girl, Black Widow. There are also dive DPS. These DPS are usually designed to go into the enemy backline and secure picks on these supports. Now that's easier said than done, but that's how these characters are designed to play. Some DPS such as Magic, Spider-Man, Black Panther, Iron Fist. These melee or dive DPS should go to the enemy backline and try to get a pick on these supports, or at least draw out their cooldowns. This becomes a little bit more important later on. Not all duelists are solely dive or poke. Some are a little bit more of brawlers. They can play a little bit more on the front line with the tanks and deal damage to the tanks, or they can dive and go for picks in the back line. So this might apply more to Magic or Iron Fist. Psylocke can play in the enemy backline and secure picks, or fight a little bit on the front line to try to get her cooldowns back. And next we have strategists or supports. Yes, we know they heal the team, they keep the team up, but it's also very important for them to play to keep themselves up, each other up, and just try to stay alive. Some strategists are designed a little bit more like DPS, such as Atom and Ultron, and may not be the best in dual support compositions. Some supports are also a lot better at healing than others might be. If we're playing a dual support comp, maybe a Luna, Loki, or Invis might be better than a Mantis and then a Warlock, or an Ultron and a Jet. Strategists also have some of the most broken, important, best ultimates in the game, having support ults. They basically can keep your team immortal for a period of time and negate any of the opposing ultimates that the opponent use. Ultimates like Luna's ultimate, Invis ultimate, even kind of Mantis ultimate, it's like pretty decent at times, can keep your team immortal. Some strategist ultimates such as Jeff's ultimate or Ultron's ultimate are kind of a little bit more offensively used, and they don't really serve well as a defensive ultimate that can negate an opponent's ultimate. If you guys have any questions, or you guys simply just want to play more Rivals and get to know the community, feel free to join the Discord. I'm really trying to grow that. Aim training as well. You want aim training advice, feel free to hop in the Discord. Link for that will be in the description. Abilities. Every hero has unique abilities, also known as cooldowns. At first you want to learn what they do and get used to using them. But as time goes on and you play more and you get used to your abilities, you'll learn how to juggle them and time your abilities in key situations. Something like this might be, if you know Scarlet has ult and you're playing Emma, you know that you can grab her out of her ult. So you might want to time Diamond Form for when she ults, and then pop Diamond Form and try to go for the grab to save your team from Scarlet ult. If you know the enemy Psylocke is coming up on ult and you're playing Loki, basically makes anyone in Psylocke's ultimate immortal because his shift is really strong. If you're playing Spider-Man and you run out of web clusters, you're kind of useless for a little bit because most of your combos and you get extra damage by landing your tracers. If you're on BP and you miss your dash, you're now immobile, making you somewhat of an easy target if you don't know how to manage your cooldowns properly. Also, if you're enjoying this content so far and you've learned something new, all I ask is that you drop a like and a sub in the video. Maps. Every map has 3 lanes, a left lane, right lane, and a main or middle lane. 90% of the time, if you're playing tank or support, you will be playing in main, not really on a flank unless it's with your team. However, DPS usually will play either main with one on the flank or off angle, and the reason why they play in these left and right lanes trying to play on off angles are to try to secure extra damage and even picks. Now the thing about playing off angles or in the flank, most of the time you will be out of the line of sight of your supports, so conveniently enough there are health packs on the left and right lanes of the map. Playing on high ground always provides a good vantage point. It's easier for you to get headshots when you're playing on high ground. Playing with your team is important, and the only times where it's really worth breaking away from your team is if you have mobility. For example, if you're playing Hela and you're playing on the off angle, you can use Bird to get back to your team and reposition so you can get help. Divers have great mobility, so they can play a little bit more solo at times. If you're a DPS and you're on the flank, you cannot blame your supports for not healing you if you're so far away from them and they can't even see you. Staggering. One of the biggest issues, especially in lower elo, is people stagger very easily. Let's say you're in a really big team fight and your team is losing and each one of you guys are going down 10 seconds apart. This means you guys will respawn 10 seconds apart. So if one person respawns, walks back to the fight, then another respawns 10 seconds later and they go back to the fight, it will become very easy for you guys to stagger. One person will go down at a time and your team will never really be able to regroup and have a better team fight. So instead of staggering, it might be better for your team to wait for everyone to respawn and you guys walk back out as a team for another team fight, instead of you guys just walking back 1v6ing all the time and then you guys are just cycled in and out of the respawn room. Remember, when you're new and learning, you're learning and so are your teammates. You'll grow and become better with time and practice. So with that, if your team is getting tilted because you're choosing to play a certain character or they want you to swap off for something, you can either do one, make the swap. If you're not doing so hot on DPS, maybe you might want to go to support, but I would say you want to spend a lot of time playing 1 to 2 heroes just so you can learn the game well and learn your role well. You might want to be a Luna main, try to always play Luna. You might want to be a Hela main, try to always play Hela. You might want to be a Spider-Man main, always play Spider-Man. Point is, whoever you pick to play, stick with them. Don't worry about what your teammates say. Don't worry about if they say you're throwing unless you're actually throwing. But yeah, play who you want to play and get good at that hero. Deaths are also very important. You don't want to be dying a lot, because if you're dying a lot, that means your team is down a player and they have to possibly fight 5v6. And usually if everyone's playing at around the same skill level, the team with 6 good players will beat the team with 5 good players. So you want to not try to die that much. However, this topic goes a little bit deeper, so maybe I'll make another video about that. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, all I ask is that you drop a like and a sub. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.